Bancha tea caffeine is a topic a lot of people have asked us about. After sencha, bancha is the second most popular green tea in Japan. It has become popular as an everyday tea thanks to its mild flavor and its lower price tag. The tea also works great as a low caffeine drink. In this video, we're going to explore why bancha tea has caffeine, the bancha tea caffeine content, as well as some of the benefits of bancha tea. Before we get started, it would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for future tea videos. We have hundreds of videos on all sorts of topics related to Japanese green tea, but for this episode, we're going to focus on bancha specifically. Without further ado, let's get started. What is bancha tea? Before we talk about the bancha tea caffeine level, let's briefly define what bancha tea is. The name either translates to simple tea or everyday tea. While teas like gyokuro and sencha are considered to be more special teas, bancha is much more affordable, making it suitable for daily drinking. Bancha is made from the older, more mature leaves of the tea plant. The youngest leaves on top of the tea plant are the most sought after. These are the highest in nutrients and the smoothest and sweetest in flavor. As a result, these younger leaves are reserved for premium sencha, gyokuro, and matcha, and the older leaves or later harvests of the tea plant are used to make bancha. These older leaves can also be used to make genmaicha and hojicha, two of some of our favorite low caffeine green teas. The older tea leaves are higher in minerals, and they have more of a subtle, almost earthy flavor. While the young leaves provide these more fresh, tart, and sweet notes, the flavor of bancha is much stronger on the notes of warm wood, cereal, and citrus. As we will discuss later, these older leaves will also play a part in explaining why bancha tea is so low in caffeine. So why does bancha tea even have caffeine? To understand why bancha tea has caffeine, you have to look at the tea plant itself. The tea plant produces caffeine as a defense mechanism to protect itself from insects. Caffeine is very bitter and even poisonous to small insects, so as the tea plant builds up caffeine on the outside of its tea leaves, it is able to provide a protective coating for its leaves. For this reason, all true teas will come with some level of caffeine, but some will be higher than others. In the next section, we will learn why the bancha tea caffeine content is much lower compared to other types of green tea. If you take a look at the tea plant, you will notice light green sprouts on top and larger, thicker leaves down below. The younger sprouts of the tea plant are very tender, while the older, more mature leaves are much tougher. Insects are more attracted to the younger leaves, so these require more caffeine in order to stay protected. The older leaves of the tea plant don't require quite as much protection, and therefore they don't produce as much caffeine. This is why teas produced from younger tea leaves like sencha, gyokuro, matcha, and kabusecha are so high in caffeine, and teas produced from older leaves like bancha, genmaicha, and hojicha are lower in caffeine. In addition to being made from older tea leaves, bancha can also be made from later harvests, as late as October. After the fall, the tea plant has all winter to build up nutrients, and these nutrients are released all at once into the fresh sprouts in the springtime. The tea plant can be harvested up to 3 more times, but the nutrients and caffeine will be diminished as the tea plant has had less time to replenish. This is why the later harvest teas are less sought after. When discussing the caffeine content of bancha tea, you can end up with as little as 10 milligrams of caffeine per cup. This makes it one of the lowest caffeine green teas and the perfect companion for a cold evening or night. So what factors influence the caffeine level of bancha tea? First, we have the brewing. The amount of bancha tea caffeine depends on how the tea is brewed. As we discussed before, the caffeine is concentrated on the outside of the leaf as a protective coating. During the first brewing, much of this is stripped away, which leaves little caffeine left in the later brewings of the tea. So you may be asking, does bancha green tea have caffeine in the second or third brewing at all? The answer is yes, but very little. You should be able to drink these later brewings of the tea into the evening if you want. Next, we have temperature. The temperature you use to brew the tea will also determine how much caffeine you extract. Caffeine requires a higher temperature to be extracted, so if you're looking for an even lower caffeine brewing, you can try using lower temperature water or cold water. Bancha is more than simply a low caffeine tea. It's a great afternoon or evening treat that can help soothe the stomach and calm the mind. If you're interested in trying some bancha tea for yourself, you can try our Bancha Masuda-en. This tea is produced by Mr. Masuda, a talented farmer in Shizuoka that is committed to growing green tea without the use of pesticides or chemicals. This tea is inexpensive and has a very pleasant flavor that makes for the perfect pairing for an afternoon snack. Try it out for yourself and let us know what you think. When you order tea from us, you're not only helping to support this channel, but also helping us to support the dozens of talented farmers we work with all around Japan. We hope that by sharing these farmers' stories and their teas with people all around the world, we can help to transition the tea industry into a more positive, sustainable direction. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you next time.